I can tell already, my friends, that this is going to be a fun show, a world-class show. If you can expect that, today we have Kristine Hyde. She is the co-founder of something called Dry Bar. Now, I can't get a drink at Dry Bar. Is that right, Kristine?
Oh, no, we're not dry. We are not dry. I have to correct you, though. I am not the co-founder. I wish I was. I'm the co-owner of 2 local shops.
Okay.
Right. I wish I created this.
The most humble entrepreneur in Sacramento. I was going to have to set the record straight, correcting the Mark Haney on the air. Are you? So you started a franchise with Brenda.
I did. Brenda Dreary, the most amazing, talented woman I know. And unfortunately, she couldn't be here, and I'm bummed about that.
We are missing her, and she is part of the dynamic duo. It's you and her are the dynamic duo of the Sacramento Dry Bar group. And today it's just me and you. You're gonna have to carry us.
I think you're gonna be the other half of the dynamic duo.
Okay,
yeah.
I will.
I promised I wouldn't do your hair, but you never know.
Well, for those of you that are listening on podcast, you might want to switch over to YouTube. Kristine is very attractive, and I have very long hair with COVID. I've sort of not got the haircut as much as I ought to, and so here I am. But switch over to YouTube if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
So, Kristine, let's take me back to the beginning of when your involvement in getting into Dry Bar.
Dry Bar, yeah. It goes back to about 8 years ago. I was going to I won't say how many year high school reunion, and I went to Santana Row, and I went to Dry Bar because I wanted my hair to look good, and I'm not very good at doing my own hair. And I went in there, and I don't even remember what they did to my hair, but all I know was I know how I felt when I left, and I felt confident. I felt really, really great. And I was like, it's going to be a good night because my hair looked good. And I just remembered that. And I started following them. I loved their marketing. I loved the branding, and it's evolved so much. It's just a wonderful brand. And I don't know, I just like when I traveled, I worked where I would go on the road. And I'm actually kind of infamous in Dry Bar corporate I would look for a Dry Bar and then I'd book my hotel because I wanted to be closer. I was like, I'll go like 30 minutes to the convention, but I got to get my hair done first. And that's the priority.
When did it start? When did you start it?
Well, Brenda and I opened Dry Bar in Sacramento in 2017. We just celebrated 4 years. We're so excited about that.
Congratulations.
And then we opened Roseville in 2019. I'm just like, I can't remember. And we just celebrated in July. We celebrated being here for 2 years. Not quite open for 2 years,
but that's great. So, I mean, you mentioned, Kristine, that you and Brenda did this together. Who found who?
We found each other. No, we did. We found each other. We met at our kids' school. She was the Parents Club president, and she lured me into some fundraising. And we just hit it off. She's a lot of fun. And we knew if we could raise that much money for a local school, we'd really do well together. And Brenda's kind of a fashion beauty maven. I mean, if there's a beauty product out there, she knows about it long before I would. She knew about Dry Bar. She knew their products. She was using their products, but she'd never had a blowout. And I was like, come with me.
Okay, well, I want to get yours and Brenda's background a little bit before we go too much further, but then I want to dive more into Dry Bar and what it is, because people are probably listening to this going, it sounds like it's about hair. It's not about alcohol, Mark. So we'll dive into that in a second. But so you've had tremendous success prior to Dry Bar, and Brenda obviously was successful in her own right as well.
Very successful. Brenda grew up working in a retail family business, and so she definitely knows how to work hard. She's one of the hardest working people I know. She and her husband worked really hard for the local Boy Scouts. They're like any event in our area that was the troop that we were involved in, Brenda and Grant had their fingers on it.
Oh, wow.
And so she came to the table, just the spirit, like if she was here, she just has this really positive energy, is a great hostess, and people just love her. Then you meet her, and she doesn't ever meet strangers. So she had this innate kind of aura about her. She studied business at Sac State, And just having fun with her, I was like, she'd be a great business partner because, as you know, a business partner is your next marriage.
It is like getting married. So any listeners out there, I mean, choose wisely.
Oh, choose wisely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew each other from the kids and scouts and school, and you knew that somehow you needed to get together.
Yeah.
And then you knew about the dry bar originally, or was that her vision? She's obviously in fashion.
Yeah, she knew the products and I knew the service. I knew the blowouts. I'd been to a lot of the shops around the country, and we went down to San Francisco. We got blowouts, and then now she's hooked. I was hooked, now she's hooked. And we had contacted, we always tell the story. We were banging on their door going, why are you not here? Like, we knew that there was demand here. We knew that the women of this region would love Dry Bar. They'd love the experience. It's an affordable luxury. Women walk in with their hair in the messy bun, and how mine was about 2 hours ago. And then I went to Dry Bar today and had my hair done, and I feel great. I'm super confident.
Go to YouTube. It worked, my friends. We didn't get your background, though. Okay, so you are also a successful professional beyond Dry Bar.
I'm a hardworking woman. I'll tell you that much. I have a degree from USC in economics and communications. I worked for a long time in sports. And then when I came to Sacramento, I worked on a nonprofit to try to bring baseball back to Sacramento. Actually,
wow.
It's probably, you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Little known fact. And
with the A's or the Giants?
Yeah, anybody.
Both. Okay.
So I worked with Play Ball Sacramento. It was a kind of a joint powers authority. It was spearheaded by Mayor Joe Cerna at the time.
Uh-huh.
And we got the River Cats.
Yes.
So I will not take credit for that, but I will say that, there was a lot of momentum. This is a baseball town. Mm-hmm. This is a baseball community, and a lot of great people put the River Cats together. So that was good. And I switched careers, went into human resources, and never looked back. I'd always been doing it, and I worked for the McClatchy Company. Those were some tough years.
Yeah,
really
the newspaper business, when did it go on the decline? It probably went on the decline, I guess, when digital started becoming...
Yeah.
And when television came out? I don't know. I used to deliver a newspaper, but at some point it started declining, maybe in the 70s or 80s?
I think after that, I think there's still a lot of people that are still,
When I sold my paper out, I think it started going downhill, and that was the 70s, yes.
Yeah, did you sell the Sacramento Bee? Did you get a Scoopy
No,
award?
I was the Sacramento Union. We actually kicked the Bee's tail in my neighborhood.
Okay. Well, probably because of you.
Well, my brother and I were salesmen.
Okay,
so,
that's why.
That's
why. They couldn't, well, that's probably, you're right. That's probably when it went down.
We had something called in-home delivery. We put the newspaper on the ledge, and so when you open the door, it fell into the customer's house. Voila, in-home delivery. And the Sacramento Bee just couldn't keep up with that.
I think you're an industry disruptor. I do. I really do.
Oh, no doubt.
Because that's it. Right there, like, boop, right in the door.
It was actually my brother's idea. But
okay. Well, we gave him credit. That's good.
Okay, so you're in HR. You're still in HR, though, with one of my favorite companies in all the world. Tell us about what you do today when you're not Miss Dry Bar.
I work with 5 Star Bank. I'm their chief HR officer. They're one of my favorite companies, too. It's a tremendous company. I just love them. They're such a great organization. They do so much for our community.
They do, and they've done a lot for me. When I talk about James Beckwith, sometimes I'll get a tear in my eye, as he knows. But you and I were talking before the show about being nervous and things like that. And I remember my first show, I was really nervous. But prior to that, I was really nervous because I was there with my buddy Tom Candress. We were talking about starting the radio show and going to do it live. And hey, I better try to get some sponsors. You know anybody, Tom, that might be interested in entrepreneurship that would want to help out? And he's like, call James Beckwith. I didn't know James Beckwith, so I picked up the phone right over there, 5 feet from where I'm sitting now. And my hand was shaking, and I called James Beckwith, and he said yes. And so I always I switched all my accounts to 5 Star on that day.
As you should.
Yes, and I don't know how many I have now. It's quite a few. And all my friends, a large portion of my friends bank at 5 Star. So we we appreciate what you do as well at 5 Star. So you're at HR over there when you're not doing dry bar.
Right. Yeah. I left McClatchy and started my own HR consulting business. That's how I met 5 Star. At the same time, I was like, hey, I want to start a bank account for my new company. I don't really have any money. And Jason Zaslow, who, Mike Rizzo, they're like, yeah, we'll take your money. Come on over here. And so that's how I started my relationship with them. And then they became my clients. And so I did some work for them for 3 years. And then they were planning on going public, taking a run at going public, a successful run. And, we were like, hey, you got to have a full-time HR person. So that's what I do.
And they found you. That's great. Well, I mean, it's interesting how you have parlayed your experience, with being a customer at Dry Bar, fall in love with the idea, and then start your own franchises. And then even with 5 Star, they're your banker, and now you're helping lead them, through their IPO and all the HR stuff. I'm sure with an initial public offering, they're going to grow like crazy. That's going to make your life pretty busy.
It is. Or do you think I should be your co-host? This is where this is going. Like one day she showed
so,
up on
yes.
our show.
Yes, I do think you should be my co-host. I used to have a co-host. And but that's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
We'll plant that seed. Because that's how you do it. You sort of parlay your relationships into opportunity. I like how that works.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get back to Dry Bar. And the one thing that kind of struck me about Dry Bar, I'm not super aware of it. I should ask my daughter because I believe she's a customer of a Dry Bar. But there's no scissors involved in Dry Bar, is that right? You can't get a haircut there?
No, Dry Bar was created by a stylist, Allie Webb, and we're going to do one thing and be the best at it, and that's blowouts. The tagline is no cuts, no color, just blowouts. That's what we do, and we're the best at it.
Okay, no cuts, no color. So what happened? I walk in. There's not guys that go in there and get their hair blown out, is there?
There are.
There are?
There are, absolutely.
Okay. All right, so I walk in. My hair's almost long enough now,
You're
folks.
good. We could do yours hair.
So I walk in. Walk me through the experience. I would be nervous because I'm a guy and there's probably not going to be a bunch of guys there, but walk me through what it might be like for me.
Okay, you walk in and you're greeted by what we call our bartenders, and they are behind the bar. They're the receptionists.
Bartender.
Okay, and we do serve a complimentary glass of champagne or wine or water. You can have water too.
Oh, wow.
And so the experience begins right when you walk in the doors. It's a beautiful shop. It's branded. It's just a really clean, pretty place to be. And then your stylist greets you. They try to find out, what do you have going on today? Well, I'm going to be on this radio show. I'm going to be on the Mark Haney show. Oh, I know that show. You got to look good, girl. So then they take you back and they shampoo. We get shampooed. We condition your hair. A really great blowout starts with really clean hair. So my blowout that I had this morning is going to last me, okay, I'm kind of gross, but I could go a week, but it'll last me 3 or 4 days, and my hair will look just as good as it does today. It'll sort of settle in, and that is the Dry Bar blowout. So after we condition it, I might add on a treatment or a scalp massage. I mean, who doesn't want a 10-minute scalp massage? It's pretty awesome. That's what I used to do when I went around the country.
Let me make sure I got this straight. So you get in, and so how long does the whole process take with the massage? 10-minute massage?
A little under an hour.
Okay, it takes under an hour. But if I want to get in there quick, because I'm late for the Mark Haney show, what's the quickest I can get in and out of there?
I mean, it depends on your hair length. My hair's pretty easy. I can get in and out of there in probably 35, 40 minutes. We plan for about 45 minutes. If you've got, if you wanted to add extensions, we don't add them, but we will take care of them. Really long hair, it takes a little bit longer. But the intent is, we're open 7 days a week. We open at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. So we have a lot of women that are in there looking down on their laptops, or they're on their cell phones. When I used to go to Dry Bar, I had my laptop going. I'd answer 15, 20 emails, and my hair's done. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to start my day. It's really, it's for a busy woman. It's, we appeal to everybody.
So do I need to make an appointment, or can I walk in?
Well, right now, thankfully, after being closed, during the pandemic, we're reopened, obviously, and there's demand is really high. So we really recommend booking in advance. That's the best thing to do, but especially if you have an event and you're like, you just have your heart set on somebody else doing your hair, you would want to book an appointment.
Okay, so my daughter just got married, and they had somebody come around and fix all the women's hair at the hotel. Though it was kind of, they didn't cut the hair; they just fixed the hair, and they look great. Do you ever get like bachelorettes or not bachelorettes?
Wedding parties?
Wedding parties, yeah.
Yeah, we do. We started getting little girl parties. We get like 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old birthday parties.
Wow, what
they
an
come
idea.
in. We have a special discounted price for, we call them Shirley Temples, for little girls under 10. And they come in and it's so sweet. It's like princess for a day. We do weddings. We actually do something called Dry on the Fly, where our team comes to you, like your daughter.
Okay.
We would come to your wedding site, and we would do all your hair. And it's dry, and they put curls in it. Like they could have done that to my hair today, put curls in it. We do what we call up-teenies, kind of a theme here.
Yes.
Up-teenies, which is an updo. We do half up-teenies. We do braids. We do it all.
Oh, interesting. So I could say, hey, I'm doing my wife and I are going to a 70s party, and she wants to get like a bouffant hair. Maybe that's 60s. I don't know.
60s, yeah.
Yeah, 60s.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, some kind of unique hairstyle. You guys could do that because you know how to, I don't know, create the costume or what have you.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay.
We have women that come in that want their hair crimped. Like, I guess, is that 70s?
Probably, yeah.
Or the Coachella
Feathered.
look. Yeah. Oh, we'll do feathered all day long.
Okay.
And yeah, we just do it all. Our team are all licensed cosmetologists. These are hair professionals. They're artists. You come in and they get wrapped up. They're so excited about what you're going to do. You'll often see them taking selfies with our clients and taking a lot of pictures, and it's just a really fun environment. We also, I didn't tell you this part about the experience, we have music playing. We have romantic comedies playing on big screen TVs with the closed captions so you can read what's going on. A lot of times we'll have a woman open up her laptop and then she's staring blindly into, a Julia Roberts movie or a Selena movie.
Could I say chick flick is without sounding
Okay,
too
I was going to say
sexist?
that too, but I'm trying not to.
Because we have, I'm sure some people could be turned off by that, but hey,
Yeah.
I don't care. Okay, that's what we call them. But yeah, I love those. Actually, I love those movies. I love
It's
chick
fun.
flicks. Yeah.
Except for you only see a piece of it, and then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I got to write that down because I want to watch that later.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so, God, I want to dive in harder. So you go in and you can multitask. So getting ready in the morning, the busy professional.
Yeah.
When you said the 10-year-old, so I have granddaughters that are around that age, and thinking, what great grandpa could buy a birthday present for
you'd be their
have her and
favorite
her
grandfather.
friends. Wow, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to make a note of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully my wife's listening to the show and she can help me
Yeah.
to do that. Okay, so that just sounds awesome. So you said you open at 7 in the morning, and how late are you guys open till?
Monday through Friday, through Saturday, we close at 7.
Okay.
Saturdays, we are open 8 to 7, and then Sundays, 9 to 5.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you why choosing a franchise versus start from scratch, but it sounds like you fell in love with the dry bar concept and said, we need this here in Sacramento.
Yeah,
And
it's the brand. It's the brand. It's the culture. It is this just great dynamic. When Brenda and I met Allie Webb and her brother, Michael Landau, Brenda had experience with her husband's company and branding. And when you have your own brand that you start from scratch, you want somebody who understands, like Brenda always says, like, I had to protect the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And Dry Bar was Allie's baby. And she really convinced them. They used to say it was harder to get into Harvard than it was to get a Dry Bar franchise.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they were very selective, because we're a very close-knit group. The franchise owners across the country, that's my peer. Brenda and I can pick up the phone at any time, and we're not talking to a competitor. We're talking to
One
a
of
friend.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So great peer stuff. There's obviously stuff that's been thought through. Oh, look.
The brand.
Yeah,
the
look
brand.
at the brand.
Like,
If
who
you're
would
watching on
wanna belong to
YouTube,
this-
she's holding up a little bag that says Dry Bar on the side of it. And, typically my favorite guests, they bring gifts.
Well, that's so weird that you said that.
Oh.
Because I brought you a
Oh,
gift.
you did?
I
Okay,
brought
let's.
you something special.
Well, I'm gonna guess what is inside. And I'm gonna guess it's not a pair of scissors.
It's not a pair of
and
scissors.
And you did bring me also. Thank you, Shelley Wetton, for 5-Star Bank mask, so that I don't breathe on people or get breathed on.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. And I got to guess what it is. Well, I'm feeling it. It feels like something for my hair. I'm gonna guess some kind of hair product.
I think you're going to be surprised. That's just one part of the gift.
Off we go. Oh, okay. Off we go, which is Moscow Mule travel kit.
That's just a little,
great.
Just
I
a
didn't
little,
know I like Moscow Mules. Those are good.
But I did give you some shampoo, conditioner samples. I thought you might like them.
Thank you very much. Well, I need it now, a lot more now that I have the longer hair.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I appreciate
you bet.
that, Kristine.
That's our On the Rocks is our clarifying shampoo. That'll get out all of your other hair products that you're using, Mark.
Get out the garbage.
Yeah, get out the garbage. Start with really clean hair.
Okay, so if I come to see you guys, this is the kind of shampoo and conditioner I would get?
Yeah,
or do I have choices, or do I have this?
Well, the stylist will decide based on your hair.
Okay.
So you have hair kind of like me. You know, you don't want to put a lot of heavy product on it and hold it down and weigh it down. So we want to do something that's gonna condition and clean your hair, that it won't weight it down.
Okay.
So you'll get that shampoo, that condition. You'll go back to the chair, and they will determine, what are you doing? You're on the show. We got to make you look good. And then they'll dry your hair and style and finish it.
So you guys don't do makeup there, do you?
We don't.
Okay.
We don't. We focus on one thing, and we're the best at it.
Well, that's great, because Kelly DeMarco, we were sitting here the other day doing a 5-Star Bank commercial, and it took her about an hour and a half to put on my makeup. And because I'm not used to it, I guess. That was my story. But anyway, she didn't do my hair, and I was looking at it in the commercial, and I do think I need a haircut, or I need to come see you guys, one of the two. So with that said, I want to talk about, so two women get together. They decide they're going to start this business. Invariably, and this is my, history in entrepreneurship, is there's always major obstacles that happen along the way. A lot of people don't make it through those obstacles, and a lot of small businesses fail. You have obviously made it through a pandemic, and you're off to the races. But tell us about the early days and obstacles, and was there any times when it was like, oh no, is this was it ever touch and go?
Never. Okay, touch and go. I think the biggest, I wouldn't even call it an obstacle. Brenda and I are not stylists. So running a business that is focused around licensed cosmetologists and in the beauty industry was new to us. What we knew was people and experience and experiences. We worked really hard. We wanted to recruit and hire, obviously, and retain, kind of a little background on that I got. And it was really important to us that we hire people that represented our community. A lot of diversity. I mean, the beauty industry is diverse in itself, but we wanted to make sure that we were able to do anybody's hair that walked in our door, regardless of their hair type, and they would feel really confident. And so it started with our recruiting. Brenda and I contacted every single person that applied. Some of them were on the East Coast. We called them, and we were waking people up, and we wanted everybody to have a chance. I think that was kind of an early, I don't want to say obstacle, like challenge, like are we going to have enough people to do this? Are people going to start at 7 a.m.? Like stylists are going to come to work at 7 a.m.? They love it. They all want to work that shift.
Well, so many are independent contractors these days. Did you decide to go the employee route or the independent contractor route? And what went into that decision?
They're all employees. That's kind of the Dry Bar model. The thing that's great about Dry Bar too is we have a lot of cosmetology schools in this region. And you come out of school and you've probably been doing your family and friends' hair for some time, but you don't have what they call a book of business. You don't have enough business possibly to pay rent from, rent a chair is what they call it, in a studio, or open your own salon, buy all the product, all the things that go into that. So starting at Dry Bar, we have paid training, and we keep all this talent local. They're here, stay here, they paid for cosmetology school. Now they have a job where all they do is show up with a great attitude. And
I could imagine too, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but if you're up against a clock in a wedding, high pressure, But if you cut somebody's hair wrong, that's worse than curling it wrong or styling it a little. You can do a redo as long as you've got the time, right? How often is there a redo happen with one of your newer people? Does that ever happen?
Well, we train them really well. Yeah. We have 2 full-time educators in our shop. I mean, that's pretty unheard of for our size business, but it's that important. And yeah, it happens. We can usually tell. The big reveal is we don't stare at a mirror when you're getting your hair done. I'm staring at the TV or my laptop or whatever. And so when I turn around and they show me what they've done, that's the magic. You see this like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's like a moment, but we can tell. So I might be like, you don't have that magic. Like, well, I'm not really sure. And I start touching my hair. We can kind of tell, hey, would you like me to adjust anything? And we usually ask that. We can adjust things. We can change things. Well, gee, I had my mind, I was like, I thought I was getting an Ariana Grande ponytail.
It's not a redo. It's maybe a tweak here or there. Okay.
Exactly. I mean, we don't, our ultimate goal is that you walk out the door going, okay, that was great. I feel better.
So you hiring the right team and building the chemistry, it's obviously something that both of you have skill at. What surprised you? What skill didn't you have? Did you had to go find help to get, what did you have to get help with?
A lawyer.
Oh, that's a good point, my friends. Have a good lawyer if you are going into business. Yes. Don't skimp on the attorney. Get the right one, a business attorney, right? You need a business attorney. Yeah, absolutely.
I think our business attorney, a bookkeeper, we have a great bookkeeper that we share with the other franchise owners in San Diego, and she understands our business and she understands us. I'll just leave it at that. I think Brenda, I would say my biggest surprise was, because when we started, we were still getting to know each other. Like, we're fun, and that's great. And we both decided to do this, but we were still growing as business partners and also our personal relationship. And Brenda, I have never met in all my years of business anybody with better hiring instincts. She can call it so fast, like, this person's going to be great. I don't know about that one. And I've gotten to the point where I'm the one who works in HR and I go, what does Brenda say? What does Brenda say?
Well, I wonder if that family business training whereby you want people that are going to have loyalty, and you can sort of sense out the people that are hungry. So as a family business type person, small business person, I've had to do a lot with that too. And I do think that is a set of experience that you might not get in a large corporation, right? But you get it when it's your money on the line.
Oh, absolutely.
And so on, or your family's money.
She's really skilled at that. The other thing is a bank. I will give another, shout out to 5 Star Bank, because we met with James Beckwith early on, and he's like, I don't really get the blowout, but I understand the concept and the business model. And he was really instrumental. He was really supportive. And once we opened, he said, you guys have created basically a women's clubhouse. Women walk in the door and it's like, hey. When we were able to reopen after being closed during the pandemic, it was like long lost family members. Yeah, it was really great. And James has always been really supportive. I mean, it was a great business partner. You look at 5 Star Bank, you're like, oh, that's like for the big guys. That's for big developers. And I mean, I'm a big fan. Obviously, I worked there, but I have always felt this way as a testimonial. Brenda and I felt that they understood the small business person like you did. You picked up the phone and called him. And they also want to grow our communities. And so it was a great partnership. And, I'll never forget Jason Zaslow coming and picking up our first check to open our account at my house. I mean, he lives near me, but it wasn't like a 2-mile trek. But it was just, you don't have that kind of service
relationship.
You can't get that with the big banks.
Right. You're not going to get that from, I won't even mention any names. 100%. So, it's interesting. I think this is a takeaway for small business people listening, thinking about starting their own business, or maybe even companies that are middle-sized type companies. outsourced partnerships can be a lot better than doing it yourself. So often we want to hang on to that one person on the team that sort of is kind of legally oriented, right? They're sort of the risk management person, when in reality, you can hire a lawyer. In bookkeeping, you don't need to have your own accountant on staff when you can do an outsourced bookkeeper. And I'm thinking in a brick and mortar type of business, a realtor, a commercial real estate person might be pretty important. Is that true? Or how did you guys find your locations?
Well, we knew first we wanted to open in Roseville for our first shop, but we looked around. We couldn't find the right space at that time. That was in like 2016. And we also knew we wanted to be in our neighborhood with, Brenda always says, our circle of influence. Like if we were having a slow day, we could call up a couple friends and say, why don't you come on over and give our team some practice and tip them, and everybody goes home happy. And it was a good move. We looked at a couple other places, and we feel really good about where we are. We're on Howe and Fair Oaks Boulevard. We're in the UV. We're next to a wonderful couple of restaurants, and local restaurant Zocalo. There are great neighbors, and it was the right place for us. It's easy to get to. People know where it is. And that was really important. And having local real estate connections was really helpful. I mean, the traffic that goes by that center was great. And then we did it all over again in Roseville. As soon as we opened in September. And I think Brenda and I were looking for space again in Roseville. We had to take a breath. And then we were looking for space in January and February of 2018. And it was a long process. Yes.
I used to own a bunch of video stores, and I remember location.
Yeah.
Obviously, I chose we had an industry that didn't last forever, but still, where it's at and your circle of influence is enormous in growing a company, building a company. So thinking about our listenership and people listening to this, I know are saying, oh, wow, I want to meet Kristine. But let's give us some advice. Let's talk about what it's like to be a woman entrepreneur. Were there any specific advantages, disadvantages associated with being a woman leader, women in entrepreneurship?
Definitely. Brenda and I thought about this because we thought you might ask that. And we were thinking about what value can we provide with us being here with you today. And, partners that you trust, the lawyer, the accountant, things like that. And then relying on our network. Like we met all these, I'll say they're a lot younger than us, a lot of young women entrepreneurs. We were so impressed with them. And there's like this gang of women entrepreneurs in Sacramento. And it's really cool. And they are also a resource. None of us do the same thing. And it's really fun to know that we're kind of like the grandmas, maybe, but I don't know.
Please. I'm the great grandfather then.
But I think, Brenda has lots of contacts in the community. So her network was very supportive. And even just like, what do you guys think? I will tell you something that I'd forgotten until this very second. Before Brenda and I put our partnership together, she and I met with everybody we knew that had a partnership. We met with Hamilton Jewelers. We met with the Dariotis family who owned the old spaghetti factory. We met with everybody who had kind of a relationship partnership to go, okay, what are the ups, the downs, the sideways? What are the things you guys fight about? We did, we interviewed them, and we were like, because it's like when you're getting married, you're like, oh, that'll never be us. But we went into it with our eyes open, and we wanted to know, where are we going to struggle? We're like sisters, and how we go out to our community is I have the HR community and I have resources there, and we just bring a lot to the table with our own network, networking.
It's interesting. One of the, we call them Markisms around here. Nobody builds a truly great company alone. And I think so many times, maybe people have been burned in the past or heard from people in the past that don't give any of your company away or don't go into business partnerships with people. And I'm convinced that that's fine if that's your personality type, but building an extraordinary company doesn't happen alone. And for me, it's a lot more fun and enjoyable and often more successful with the right business partners.
Oh, yeah. I think too, when I describe, people ask me about our partnership, like, is it hard? I'm like, no, not at all. We have this really deep trust of one another. Like, I never feel like, oh gosh, I wonder if Brenda got more detox shampoo, took home more product than I did. It doesn't even cross our minds.
Yeah.
We just feel really good about it. I completely trust her. When she says, oh, we need to do this blowout for free for somebody, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, why are you telling me? Because I know we both have the same interests at heart. And that is probably the most important thing, is that trust.
Yeah.
If you've got an instinctual, like, a gut feeling about something that's not positive, I would flesh it out, because it's a big time partnership.
Well, I agree with the trust thing 100%. And I've also seen in many cases where one partner is more committed than the other partner, and the other partner, because it's very difficult for two people to be 100% same commitment for years and years and years. We vary in what we're focused on. You might be more focused on 5-Star Bank for the moment, and she may be focused on Scouts or what have you for the moment. And the commitment levels sort of vary at times throughout our life. Doesn't mean we're not committed, and that can create animosity along the way if that's not thought through at the beginning. Did you guys do any of that thinking through, like what happens if?
We're different. We're different. We're special.
Yes.
No, we are kind of unique,
actually,
because
yeah.
we always ask ourselves, we don't know how anybody else does this with just one partner, because we feel like as a team, one of us is always on top of it. Like, luckily our kids are not the same age. Brenda has 2 kids in college now. She just became an empty nester. And I have a senior in high school. And so, we're doing those big life things at different times. She graduated her older son from high school and got him to college. She graduated her younger son, and then I'll follow in those footsteps. And we definitely have ebbs and flows, but there's always that like backup, like, we just sort of support each other. And there have been different times, honestly, before I took that job, my current job at 5-Star Bank, I went around my husband and straight to Brenda, and I said, we need to talk about this. Like, does this make sense? Does this work for you? Are you okay with it? Almost getting her permission. Like, are you okay with this? And she was completely supportive. Like, she is as, supportive of my personal and professional growth as I am of hers and of our team. Yeah. And so it's kind of cool. But yeah, definitely. I'll remember when we first opened, we laugh about this, we would send our team home because they were tired. And Brenda and I are there like 6 a.m, opening up the shop. We didn't give anybody a key for so long. That's the one thing I would do differently now. Now we're like,
yes,
give them a key on day one.
I trust them.
Yeah, trust them. And we would be there late at night. We would be cleaning the bathrooms, the toilets, like scrubbing the floorboards. And we're like, why are we here? And then we'd go over and we'd eat dinner and fall asleep and come back and do it again. Well, and that was that.
I have to imagine that, this gets, I talk about this with a lot of entrepreneurs, is the truth is in the trenches. If all you do is sit up in the grandstands or in the press box and you're trying to lead a company, it's a lot harder to do. But if you have already cleaned the toilets, if you have already opened the shop, you've already paid your dues, everybody else gets the sense of your commitment level and the amount that you care. And then also, I think in some ways it's easier to hold other people accountable when you know the ins and outs of, the details of the business.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not as fast as I used to be on our computers. We have this booking system, Booker. And I'm a little bit slow now, but Brenda and I used to run that thing by ourselves. We'd have, 10 chairs open and we'd be the only bartender and she'd be up at the front and I'd be running and, we were able to do it. And we've hired this amazing team. That's another thing we've done. Brenda's background and my background together, we have grown our team. We've put opportunities in front of people to become leaders. Like I said, we have shop educators, we have a manager, we have a lead bartender, and so it's different. It's transitioning, and I think it's hard for some of our original hires. They're like, we never see you, and we're like, we're trying to do both shops. So,
Well, there's some good nuggets in here. Okay, so get the right business partner. Trust is the most important thing. It sounds like communication is key to building that trust. Get in the trenches, and there may be some things you would do differently, but learning the ins and outs of the business is obviously a key when you're launching a business. The one thing that you didn't touch on, and this is something that my teammates suggested that I ask you, and that was really about women in entrepreneurship, women in leadership. And you said there's this gang. Any advice or thoughts around utilizing the gang or other things around being a woman in a leadership position?
I think it's just building your network and asking questions like what's your biggest challenge? What's the biggest challenge of somebody who's in the food industry? There's a few things that are the same. We all have the same challenge of staffing. Everybody has that problem now. And, we're trying to overcome that. And just having somebody you can trust to call. This is why we're unique, is Brenda and I always have each other to call, and run things by, like, what do you think about this? And we do have some unusual times. Like, we've definitely disagreed at times, but we are generally on the same page, which is, a miracle, because we're two different people. And so, but that gang of entrepreneurs that are in Sacramento and being connected to them is just somebody who, understands how hard it is, understands, what a heartbreak it was. Like, one of our core values is we are family. You almost want to sing it, right? And, we had 80 employees at the beginning of the pandemic, and saying to 80 people who probably, many of them live paycheck to paycheck, I don't have a job for you anymore. We have to shut our doors. We're going to close down, but we're here for you. I mean, you've heard this probably all year. It's like, oh, we just thought we were going to close down for 2 weeks. And that's not what it was like. But with our experience, we were able to really help them with unemployment. Obviously, we had an expertise in that. And we were able to help them. We created a dry bar stylist, actually an employee fund, like a scholarship.
Oh, boy.
We partnered with Dry Bar Corporate, and we were able to grant money to people who really need it. And I will tell you, this says a lot about our team. We had a lot of people, like, everybody needed money, right? But we had people that said, no, I know there's people on our team that need it more. And they stepped back.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that was powerful. I know I get a little teary.
Yeah, I mean, what do you say to those people when they say, give it to them?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. It was incredible. It touches me still to this day.
Oh my gosh.
And then we had times when we could open. We were allowed to do curbside. We were dropping things off on people's doorsteps. A lot of our regular clients learned that when they were ordering things online, they were ordering products, their favorite dry bar products, or a hair dryer, because now they had to do it on their own. And they didn't realize that by ordering it online, it wasn't helping the local shop. And so, word got out. I mean, all small businesses were like, hey, we're here. We're the local business. And so a lot of our people were like, how can I help you? Our clients were like, how can I help you? How can I help the stylist? We had people giving money to stylists, their favorite stylists. So that was really cool. I mean, that's community.
Yes.
And being able to get through that and persevere was the support of other small businesses. Like, even just like, this is hard.
Yes.
Sometimes that's enough. And so that's having that support group.
Yeah. Well, closing thoughts, because it makes me think about entrepreneurs or people out there that shouldn't be entrepreneurs. Probably you had the background in entrepreneurship. Your partner had the background in their family business and entrepreneurship. But there's people out there it sounds cool. It sounds fun. But it's not for everybody. Just maybe some closing thoughts on who makes a great entrepreneur, and if somebody wanted to be an entrepreneur, what kind of steps might they be thinking about taking?
Well, we forgot one part of this, and that is having fun.
Okay.
If this wasn't fun, it wouldn't be fun, right? We wouldn't want to do it.
Agreed.
It's we were in this to bring dry bar. I just wanted to blow out, quite frankly. Same with Brenda. And we knew that the women of this community wanted that too. And so it's passion for delivering a great product. Our passion is customer service and providing a great experience for everybody that walks in those doors. No matter who you are, you know you can walk into Dry Bar Sacramento or Dry Bar Roseville, and you're going to see people that look like you, and they can do your hair. And then you're going to walk out the door, and that messy bun is now going to be that confident, shoulders back look. And that's Dry Bar. So if you're going to find a business, find your passion. You've found your passion, obviously, inspiring other entrepreneurs. Get a lot of input. I will be honest, I have been listening to your podcast for some time. That is free advice from a lot of really talented people. And I would guess if I picked up the phone and called any of the people that have been on your show and said, hey, I heard you on the Mark Haney show, can you give me some feedback? And I bet all of them would take the call.
Yes, they would.
Because that's who they are. And that's the heart and soul of an entrepreneur. And that's kind of the heart and soul of Dry Bar. And that is, we help these young stylists that are coming out of school. They just get their license. We train them and we give them confidence, and they stay with us, or they go, they build their own shop someplace else. We wish they'd stay with us forever, but we also can't get in the way of their dreams. And so I think if you're an entrepreneur and you have employees or you work with people that you're developing, you're going to develop some of them out, but it's like the value that they bring to your business while they're there. And I think that's really important. And having a great product, if you're not scent sensitive, you got to smell this stuff.
Okay, smell it.
Okay, you got to spray a little. This is Detox. It's kind of like the power suit of Dry Bar.
Do I put it, you normally spray it on somebody, spray it on somebody's hair?
Yeah, you can put it in your hair. It's dry shampoo. It smells amazing.
Oh, it does.
Oh, it's good, huh? And so having great products, like you have to have a great product. Okay. And that's another reason to be partner with a great brand. Yeah. Well,
Kristine Hyde, I'm blown away by the energy you brought, the gifts that you brought, and the nuggets of wisdom. I think you've inspired people to seize the opportunity, and I think you've inspired people to think about how they might create opportunity for others, and in providing employment and that path to being what they want to be in their life. So thank you very much. Sacramento is lucky to have you. Five Star Bank is lucky to have you. We are lucky to have you, and so thank you for joining me today on the show.
Oh, this was fun. This was so fun. And you used to ask, are you hanging or banging?
I did. I didn't. I haven't asked that. You've listened to why I haven't asked that. Okay, so just for the audience to clarify that, because whenever I asked that, I got feedback from my team that I should clarify what I meant by that. Because people say, like, Mark, what's the secret to your success? And I say, well, it's a lot like CrossFit, right? And as many reps as possible. There's something called an AMRAP. As many reps as possible at your when you're at your very best opportunity, right? So like when you're in the flow, you are in the zone. That's banging, right? So. Yeah. Are you hanging is the downtime that you need to recover so that you can get back to banging once in a while. So anyway, long story short, okay, are you hanging or banging, Kristine?
Well, Brenda and I are banging. We're banging.
I love it. All right. At their very best. Yeah. At their very best opportunity. Having fun. Love it. Banging here on the Mark Haney Show with Kristine Hyde. Missing you, Brenda, but thinking about you. We can feel the inspiration coming through the universe toward the Mark Haney Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You bet. Thanks for watching today's show. My goal for every episode is that you find a takeaway, something tangible you can use in your business today. And if you have a comment about a favorite takeaway, feel free to put it in the box below. And if you have a topic that you'd like me to bring up on the show, don't forget to let me know. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to learn more about entrepreneurship. Because at Haney Biz, we are always by your side.